tatta 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 trak dan dan chijikit 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 tho thudang tak thun tak tigda dig dig thai 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 tigda dig dig thai. So when you talk about performing arts, usually people feel that it is a practicing art form, which it is. However, if you look at the contemporary world now, just learning one art form, either dance or music or drama, and within that also one specific art form, is not enough for a student to survive. So the idea of the School of Performing Arts at the World University of Design is to take that practicing artist up to the level of a professional. And when I say professional, it is somebody who has an understanding of all the allied art forms. Because if you look at the times today, a performing artist should know how stage works, the lights, the costumes, the makeup, which yes, initially also when we were dancing or practicing, one needed to know that. But now the world is more about the multimedia. It is about the social media. There are a lot of things that have come up where you need to perform for the screen. Your hand should not go out of the screen while you're performing. There are a lot of sound arrangements, music arrangements that you need to understand. Apart from that, a lot of new fields have come in the field of performing arts. The primary one would be therapeutic practices, whether it is dance therapy, whether it is music therapy. Therapeutic practices have a big market today in the performing arts field because initially if you look at any of the performing art forms, especially the classical ones, they are very therapeutic in nature. But we never used to look at them that way. But now when the understanding of different emotional, mental and even physical stress, the problems that have come from stress has come into practice and people have seen that there is an awareness about the same. The dance therapy and music therapy is something that is really something that is helping a lot of artists to create a career into therapeutic fields. The second thing that has come up very strongly is art administration, because art administration is something where how you even set up your own studio or how you manage other artists, how you create productions, how you are not going on the wrong side of the law, because there are a lot of laws, copyright issues, a lot of rules that performing artist doesn't know. They just dance or they just sing or they just do their dramatics. But when you're doing a production, when you're doing a institutional setup, there is something as simple as plagiarism also comes into place, and you need to understand that what are the rules and regulations for that. The third thing is research and documentation, because primarily dancing, music, dramatics were an oral form, storytelling form. And then they started coming into the classical or the folk styles. However, now there is a big scope for critique writing, for review writing, for publishing books, doing research, and a lot of work is happening, but there is a certain format for the same. It is not as if you can just pick up a pen and a paper and write anyway in an abrupt way. So there is a lot of training in that. The fourth thing which has come up very strongly is pedagogy, that the performing arts now have become a part of schools, colleges, universities as a subject. So what happens is that one has to understand the pedagogical approach, one has to understand something as simple as making a lesson plan, connecting to students from the level of pre-primary to primary to high school, because previously performing arts was a setup into a Guru Shishya Parampara. So when you're talking about Guru Shishya Parampara, it is more smaller groups or one-on-one and more oral traditions. But now you look at one has to create lesson plans, one has to do planning in tandem with the themes that are going across in schools or colleges or universities. There are a lot of days that are celebrated. These are very simple things when you listen to them, but when you are planning, there is a strict structure to it. You also have to understand quite a lot about how to approach students, how to talk to them, how to kind of, you cannot be a guru there, you have to be a teacher. You have to be a teacher in tandem with the other subject teachers who are around. So this is a kind of understanding that all the performing artists need to have, because now we will be at some point either teaching, which one does go into teaching, or teaching into an educational setup is a completely different ballgame. So that is one understanding. The next thing is that SOPA in WUD very strongly is working on is constructing the body or the musical aesthetics as per the global level. Because let's say today you have learned Bharatnatyam or Odissi or Kathak, or you have learned one instrument. For how long can you survive with that niche audience doing just the same thing? So tomorrow if you get an offer to go into a foreign country and collaborate with people, collaboration, I'm not talking about fusion, but when you talk about collaboration, there's a lot of give and take. So your bodies, your aesthetic understanding, your musical sensibility needs to be of that level. Your understanding of the whole prosceniums have to be of that level where one understands that, it's not as if that I will do this form and you will do that form, and it has to be very, rigid. So that understanding of flexibility, vulnerability, and kind of making a confluence is so very important for artists, which we very strongly believe in teaching here. The USP is that we have departments of architecture and fashion and design around us. So there is a lot of daily basis give and take. So if I'm working on a dance sequence and I need to work on the costumes, or if I'm doing a musical production and I need to look at the aesthetics into the sound studio, everything is available here on campus for me and for my students. And that collaboration prepares me in a way to face the real world, because that is what the real world is all about. I have to make my own creative, I have to look into my social media, I have to apply for grants, I have to make projects, I have to write a lot of things about myself. How to get a review also itself is a process. So that understanding completely is happening at the School of Performing Arts in the World University of Design, and that is USP. Secondly, all said and done, performing arts also now, because one is taking it to the professional level, there has to be a lot of career opportunities. So that's what the assistance that we provide to the students, because once you go into the real world job hunting, if you have studied here, we will give you the complete support to where to apply, how to present yourself, because presentation is something which is very, very important in today's time. But as far as performing arts is concerned, it is all about presentation, how you put your performance in front of the people. So that thing is something that we really very strongly work on. And apart from that, the understanding of connecting performing arts and not keeping it like a secluded form, connecting it with whatever is available in the contemporary world. So let's say there are different fields where a performing artist can fit in. It can be the corporate world. There are a lot of options in the corporate world. There are a lot of options in the psychological, medical field. There are a lot of options into soft skill industries and those ideas. So that understanding is very strongly that we kind of give here to the students. And yes, we do have collaboration with foreign universities. So that exposure to a School of Performing Arts student is very, very important, because otherwise when you are learning one art form, you usually don't think of going out and kind of enhancing your work within that structural format, but that is available here. So in a crux, if I say, it is taking that practicing form to the performing and to the professional level. That is the idea of the School of Performing Arts in the World University of Design, where you can manage your own performance, where you can create new performances, where you can present as per the contemporary global scenario. And yes, you make it a profession. It is not just a vocation that you're doing, the learning, and you're earning out of somewhere else. It is the idea of SOPA is that a performer should have a career in performing arts and not a parallel career from where he or she is earning. Tandav gatamundana paranachata girdhari pam 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 pagapatakat pam 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 panani upar bim 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 binati karat nag vidho kari sana 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 sanka tik nan 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 narad gang gang gangudi gandharvanachat detari. Thank you.